Hello, everyone. It is Friday and it is August 21st, 2020. This is the normal show, and we are going to get started now. Everything is up and running. We're live on YouTube at the DeCamp show with Justin DeWeese. Justin is obviously not here again today. He is moving in and has orientation this week, as I said yesterday. Trying to think what else. We have Instagram. Link is in the description below. We have a phone number for our channel for live stream, so you can text us questions during the live streams. Make sure you subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and just let people know that we're here and we're live, and leave comments and everything. And so we're going to go ahead and get started now. We're going to start with the miscellaneous topics, and that will be, first off, that the CFL has canceled the 2020 season. Their commissioner announced on Monday afternoon that the league will not play during the pandemic, which is interesting, seeing that the NFL, which is the counterpart of in the Americas, the U.S. counterpart to the Canadian counterpart for football, playing wise in the U.S. is going to still play as of right now, and the CFL up in Canada isn't going to play, and they play, it looks like, at the same time, and we are going to have that, and that we might have just one football season going on. So now it's more likely that the NFL will still dominate the market still. But the CFL, who is, usually dominates in Canada, will now have no play, and we'll see how that impacts their draft next summer, because, will they just use the same draft lineup as they did last year or not? There's the quarterback from Ohio University the past 4 years would have had his season started up there this upcoming season, playing for the Vancouver team. Well, the British Columbia team in Vancouver. So yeah, that's that. So they're hoping to play in 2021, and we're going to move on now to our next stuff, and we're going to move on into the UFC and wrestling world. Daniel Cormier announced that he would retire just after his loss at UFC 252. In his post-fight interview, he said that that'll be it for me, and made it, final. It also came out later that he suffered a torn cornea in his loss to Stipe. So I think it was in his left eye. He either got poked, or it was just perfectly a punch right there in the eye where it got torn and everything. So trying to think, and I think that's it when it came to him. UFC prospect Sean O'Malley had an MRI on Monday for his leg, and the X-rays that he had prior to that were negative. So they're seeing if there's any ligaments. Since there were no broken bones, now we're going to see if there's any ligaments torn, possibly, in his leg. And John Bones Jones has vacated his UFC light heavyweight title that he's held on and off for nearly a decade. The reasons behind that is that he is moving up to the UFC heavyweight division. But will he actually stay clean, drug-free, be able to gain the weight and keep that weight on so he can actually fight in the heavyweight division and make the weights? Time will only tell. Maybe he won't be able to, and maybe he'll go back down to the light heavyweight division and become light heavyweight champion again for the 5 millionth time. I know it because he's been on and off for the past 10 years. So let's see. And then Blades Lewis, the fight between Curtis Blades and Derek Lewis to be held at UFC Fight Night on November 28th. Location has yet to be determined for that fight night. Let's see. And then a light heavyweight title fight for Jones's vacant title has been determined for UFC 253 between Dominic Reyes and John Blachowicz. Sorry if I pronounced that name wrong. It's hard. And then Silva agrees to Hall fight. Anderson Silva will meet Uriah Hall in main event of UFC Fight Night on Halloween. So that'll be nice. If you don't want to watch the football games on Halloween, there's going to be a UFC Fight Night, and Anderson Silva is going to be in the main event of it. And then these brothers received contracts on Tuesday night from Dana White in the Contender Series that's on every night right now on ESPN Plus. The brothers' names are Luis and Iron Corsica. So that's cool. Two brothers earned contracts together from Dana White. And there will be a bout for the vacant bantamweight championship in Bellator MMA between Juan Archituli and Patrick Mix. And then let's see. Oh, Rey Mysterio's son Dominic will make his WWE in-ring debut at SummerSlam this Sunday on the WWE Network at 7 p.m. when the show goes live on the network. It is free for 30 days for new subscribers if you have never used it before. But yeah, they also have WWE NXT TakeOver this Saturday. It's the 30th TakeOver ever. Pat McAfee, famous punter for the Indianapolis Colts, will be making his in-ring debut also this Saturday, tomorrow, for the NXT brand. Let's see. So yeah, that's that. More wrestling news. All Elite Wrestling to bring back fans with masks, though, on August 27th. So that will be next week. The Jacksonville venue will have 10% to 15% capacity for the crowd size. And this is kind of cool that they're going to be one of the first to actually bring back crowds. I'm going to get into WWE's, what they're doing starting tonight on their show. And they're going to do it tonight. And I'm not sure if they're going to be doing it for TakeOver 30, but they're also going to be doing it for SummerSlam and this upcoming Monday's Raw. And that will be that they're going to be hosting shows with virtual fans like the NBA is doing in their bubble down in Orlando. This is also going to be in Orlando. They're going to be moving out of the Performance Center and they're going to be moving into the Magic's Amway Center. They're going to be in the Thunderdome is what they're calling it. It's going to be video boards like the like the bubble in Orlando, and fans are going to be able to watch it. It's going to be debuting tonight on SmackDown, Fox, 8 p.m., and it's going to be something new. It's going to be in the Amway Center, so it's a bigger arena than where the basketball teams are playing. So it should be very interesting. I'm going to check it out. I've been trying to watch wrestling again to try and get back into it. This is definitely something that has gotten me interested into watching it. So I'm gonna be watching it. I've been watching Monday Night Raw from this past Monday on Hulu. I'm probably gonna watch NXT from Wednesday just to see Pat McAfee, AJ Hawk, and two other guys of his on there. They were on there this past Wednesday, and then I'm gonna watch SmackDown tonight to see how the Thunderdome works. So, and then, um, but yeah, and then the network has NXT Takeover 30 and SummerSlam, both free for 30 days, if on a trial basis if you don't have it yet, and then it's I think it's $9.99 afterwards still, and they might be having some new prices. They have a free tier, I think, for some stuff. I haven't looked into that. I had the network at one time, and I would just have it on 30-day free trial basis, though. So, but we're gonna move on to the NHL part of our show. Um, this is actually going way faster because Justin's not here and we can't actually talk. Um, and it sucks. But let's see. Oh, let's see. This was Saturday. Um, Bruins goalie Rask opted out for the rest of the season and was a finalist for the top goaltender trophy. So it was very interesting to see that he opted out, especially with the Bruins being one of the top teams left in the playoffs. And I think they either have or are about to advance on to the next round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The NHL and the NHLPA have also worked out protocols to allow family members to join players in the league's bubble for conference finals, which is kind of a good thing because conference finals is only 4 teams, and it's only in 2 cities. So you're going to have teams in 2 cities. You're only going to have 2 teams in 2 cities and everything. And so you're going to have family members. You're going to have more space by then. I don't know if they've talked about how they're going to do the Stanley Cup Finals, whether they're going to just move to one city or not, because it's the East and the West teams. I don't know if you're going to have one team go to one city for a couple games and then you're going to have them go to another city for another couple games, or if you're just going to have them go to one of the hub cities. Honestly, I think once you get to the conference finals, I think you should just have the 2 teams from Edmonton go to Toronto and then have all their families go to Toronto, because it's more of a upscale town compared to what Edmonton is, I guess. I've heard Edmonton hasn't been that good, according to Pat McAfee's show, what he's seen and heard on tweets. But we're going to move on to more. Hockey Hall of Famer and former Jet and Sabre legend Dale Hakochaka. Sorry if I mispronounced that, hockey fans. It passed away at the age of 57 after a battle with stomach cancer on Tuesday. And then this was Wednesday night. The Lightning and Blue Jackets series ended as it began. The Lightning win in overtime 5-4 to eliminate the Blue Jackets to reach the next round. I thought that was an interesting thing to bring up because it ended how it began. If you remember, the Blue Jackets and Lightning had one of the longest playoff series in recent history. So it was kind of interesting to see how their final game went into overtime. And then the Dallas Stars scored 7 straight to win the series. They scored 7 unanswered goals to win 7-3 to beat Calgary and win the series in 6 games. One of their players, Dennis Guerrero, finished with 4 goals. So that's cool. He got a hat trick, and he had 4 of their 7 goals to help them win. And it's just crazy, though, that they went 7 unanswered and won the game in series. So we're going to move on to the NFL real quick because these last 3 sections have a lot of talking points, and the NFL is kind of a little less topic filled this week. It's kind of more contracts filled with extensions. Travis Kelce on Thursday the 13th got a contract extension for 4 years. He's now extended through 2025. So, let's see. The Seahawks waived rookie cornerback Camille Severin for trying to sneak female visitor into team hotel. I remember, I think, Pat McAfee talking about this last Friday on their show. And I think he was talking about how players would always do this, but yet during this time, especially, this is how they are trying to make an example out of this by making people realize, you you can't do this, especially right now. Normally, you would just get fined for doing like this in a normal situation, but you can't because you don't need to compromise what's happening in training camp. You don't need to get, people COVID and everything. You don't need to sneak people in and have everyone get at risk. I think if I remember that right exactly from a week ago. So moving on to some more stuff. This is from the 14th, so this would have been last week also. 5 on-field NFL game officials and 2 replay officials opted out of the season because of the coronavirus, which was interesting to see some of the actual officials starting to opt out now. We saw almost, I think, 70 players, I think it was, by the time the deadline was reached during the opt-out period. So it's interesting to see 5 on-field and 2 replay officials from the NFL. So a total of 7 opted out. Excuse me. And we'll just see how many more maybe half are going to opt out or something happens with the refs. Patriots Cam Newton makes good first impression on Bill Belichick. Bill's been talking a lot in the past week about how he's been seeing good stuff from Cam Newton and saying that he's doing good and he really likes him. But there's also a lot of rumors going around that there might be a platoon system in New England this season because there hasn't been a which the preseason hasn't happened, so we haven't been able to see what's happened in New England between Cam and Jared and Brian Hoyer. That's the third quarterback. But Brian's been there before, and I would think Brian Hoyer. I mean, I know he's not the best, but he could be the potential starter with Cam Newton over Jared Stidham in the platoon system, I think, because he knows the system better than Jared and is more experienced in it. And that way you could have two veterans playing, and then you could have maybe Jared play some. But that's just my opinion. Let's see. The rest is other sports. Alex Smith was cleared by Washington to start playing. He was activated off the PUP list on Sunday and cleared for football activity. So that will be good. He'll definitely be there to help Dwayne Haskins throughout this season. But I really feel like maybe Alex Smith will, if he is 100% or close to, maybe you'll see them splitting reps maybe the first couple of weeks. But I definitely see Alex Smith being the starter in Washington as the quarterback for Rivera, as he is the veteran over Dwayne Haskins. I don't see Dwayne Haskins leaving or being traded. I think Dwayne Haskins will still be in Washington, but I don't know if he'll be the starter as soon as some people thought, especially now that Alex Smith is 100%. Well, he's cleared and looks like he could be 100% back and everything. So, Packers signed Kenny Clark to a 4-year extension worth $70 million. That makes him the highest paid nose tackle in NFL history. So that's interesting that they're getting those people locked in, but Aaron Rodgers still doesn't have some wide receivers, tight ends, running backs to help him out on offense. And that could definitely lead to Aaron Rodgers leaving possibly after he's a free agent or even asking to be traded like Brett did. I don't see him retiring and then coming out of retirement like Brett did, but I could definitely see him leaving and not finishing his career as a Packer, as a lot of people have said. So second round draft pick, safety Kyle Duggar might have trouble cracking lineup on defense, but could be important piece of special teams in New England for the Patriots. He has been doing really good up there during all of this preseason workouts and everything like that. So people are really thinking he will. Mike Reese from ESPN said he would probably be a better fit on the special teams unit for now. He might not get like a second or first string spot on defense at safety, but maybe he'll be farther down and be able to play special teams. He may be third or fourth, but play special teams, which is good to start off maybe as a rookie playing more special teams, because maybe you're not ready to play on the actual defensive unit, which is good to start, getting ready in that NFL system for you as a good transitional spot from college to NFL. Even though he was a second round draft pick, it might be a little disappointing because a lot of times you think first and second rounders, can go straight in a lot of times to playing and then maybe even third rounders, depending. But once you get fourth, fifth, sixth, and definitely seventh rounders, usually you don't think they can probably play right away, or they'll be like a lot of times the special teams unit or practice squad, unless you're Tom Brady, where you get drafted in the sixth round and you end up being the Hall of Fame quarterback who won 6 rings from the Super Bowl and then left and is possibly going to win another Super Bowl with the Buccaneers. But we're going to move on from that. Washington, the football team, formerly known as the Redskins, hired Jason Wright as the team president. He's the first black president of an NFL team, which is crazy to think that it took till 2020 for a black president of an NFL team. He's also a former player, so that's even crazier that a former NFL player has also became a president too. He's on the Pat McAfee show today. So definitely once the Pat McAfee show's over, they should have that clip out sometime after 1. I know they do McAfee and Hawk a lot of the times. This week they've been doing that after because AJ Hawk has been down there. So they've just been doing it straight away at 12. They've been going from the Pat McAfee show, and then once it gets done on radio, they transition and get AJ over on there, and they get McAfee and Hawk, and they go for like an hour-ish, maybe, and then they're done by 1. So, but they've been going basically. I know yesterday I think they went till like about 12:30, and so just look after 1 mainly is you could be seeing the full clip of his interview with Jason Wright. So let's see. Okay. So the Cowboys defensive tackle Gerald McCoy to miss the season after having season-ending surgery after rupturing his quad. He just signed a 3-year deal worth $18 million with the Cowboys after leaving the Buccaneers. And then there's a new Monday Night Football crew, and that will have Steve Levy, Louis Riddick, and Brian Grease as the new Monday Night Football crew. So that will be interesting. They're obviously getting rid of, I think Booger McFarland is leaving, it sounds like, and others are leaving as well. It's sucks that Pat McAfee isn't on there, but hopefully he'll do college football games maybe this year. Obviously not the Thursday night games because I don't think there will be any Thursday night games. I haven't done the group of 5 schools yet. Speaking of that, tomorrow at some time we will be streaming, and we will be doing the final 3, the group of 5 or Power 5, the 3 conferences out of the group of Power 5. Keep saying group of 5. The SEC, ACC, and Big 12. Finishing that up right after this, and then I'll be working on the I'm flipping them around. The group of 5, the 3 conferences, Conference USA, Sun Belt, and the American. I believe those three conferences are the only conferences playing in the group of 5. So, because Mountain and MAC have both decided to go to the spring. So, I don't think, besides them, I don't think they're the only 3 group of 5 that are going to be playing. So, but that will be the 3 Power 5 schools will be done tomorrow. Just pay attention to our social media and turn on notifications for the YouTube, and that'll be up sometime, probably a live stream. But the NFL declines to re-up. We'll be right back. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. One of our counselors in the College of Business at school called me by accident. Let's see. So the NFL declines to re-up its ref program. The league won't reinstate its full-time officiating program for 2020. So I think they're planning on not doing anything with refs until after this whole thing is done with. And then let's see. This has to do with Robert Kraft's current lawsuit that he's involved with that happened down in Florida. The court rules that secret videos can't be used in his massage parlor case. So that might end up letting him off because they can't use basically the case, the main evidence. Trying to think of it, the main evidence in the case. Also, the NFL will be considering a playoff bubble. They're like how the NBA is. The NFL might be considering a bubble for the playoffs, so which would be interesting. Do we just see all the teams go to one location? I know Pat McAfee, I think, said yesterday, or not him, but in an interview with one of the 2 people he was interviewing, the NFL extended its reservations in Tampa Bay for the Super Bowl a month extra for its hotels. So possibly do we see a bubble in Tampa around the Super Bowl area for all of the teams that make the playoffs, and we end up seeing all the teams in the Super Bowl or in the NFL playoffs just being played, in that area or at Raymond James Stadium. See maybe 2 games on Saturday and on Sunday, and maybe even games on Friday or Thursday, so we can get through the playoffs. It'll be interesting to see. Obviously, we're not even to the season kicking off yet, so we'll have to see what happens. We're going to get more into this when we do baseball stuff, but uh, Tom Berman is being pulled from the Fox NFL games this season for using anti-gay slur on the air during Reds broadcasts Wednesday. Like I said, we're going to get more into that on when we get into the baseball topics. Obviously, I think he does the Reds. I think he does the Bengals. I'm not sure because I don't watch the Bengals much. I don't really watch Fox for football much either because they don't have a nice broadcast. It's weird how it is broadcasted. And now we're going to go to the MLB because we're going to go off of that and we're going to do the MLB. We're not going to start with that, obviously. But our first thing is that Steven Strasburger, the pitcher for the Nationals, wasn't even out pitching or anything. He was just sitting in the stands, social distancing, wearing his mask and everything. And he said something, and the umpire tossed him from the game. So he was ejected while he was just sitting in the stands doing nothing and said something. And he got ejected. So, which is the most craziest thing. Also, a drone on last Thursday's game interrupted and delayed the Rays and Red Sox game during the third inning as it hovered over the ballpark. So I don't know how they ended up getting the ball or the drone to leave or what, but a lot of these, I think that's like the second time this season a drone has ended up delaying a game. So I think we talked about it a little while back. So and then Mookie Betts ties MLB record on the 14th last Thursday. Right? On August 14th last Thursday. Sorry, I am all over the place. Or no, last Friday, I guess. Yeah, last Friday. Sorry, people. I'm tired and everything. He tied a record with his sixth career 3 home run game, trying to become the 19th player with MLB history with a 4 home run game. So let's see. Shane Bieber fanned 11 versus the Detroit Tigers. And his 54 Ks this season are tied for third most through 5 appearances in division era. So he is obviously getting closer and closer to history each and every appearance. So last weekend, the Reds did have to postpone their series because Reds players were testing positive. So that was the Reds Pirates series. I think it ended up being the whole weekend series ended up being postponed. Garrett Cole also became the 6th pitcher in modern era to win 20 straight regular season decisions in a 10-3 win for the Yankees over the Red Sox. So let's see. So it was the Saturday and the Sunday game for the Reds Pirates series were postponed. They played the Friday game. So And then the Cardinals had a combined no-hitter through um, five or through 6 innings almost, and then the Cubs broke it up. They were only 5 outs shy of a combined no-hitter, so they were very close. That happened Monday night. And then let's see. Padres Fernando Tatis Jr. Grand Slam. It's been very controversial this week. It's been It's been a topic of discussion all week in the world of baseball, especially then what happened next with Manny Machado getting hit by a pitch next. So, obviously, I think it's fine because if the pitch was right there, I would have swung too. Um, and then Tuesday, the Royals were postponed pending coronavirus test. The plan was to make up Tuesday's game as part of a doubleheader on Wednesday. I don't think anything ended up happening on Wednesday with with it being postponed. And I think they ended up playing their games, if I remember right. The Rangers pitcher and manager both got suspensions for the whole Tatis Jr. home run and Manny Machado hit. The manager was suspended a game, and the pitcher was suspended 3 for hitting Manny Machado. So let's see. The Twins pitcher, Kenton Medina, almost had a no-hitter also. So there was 2 no-hitters almost this week. He was in the 9th inning, though, when his no-hitter was broken up. He exited after striking out 12 on 115 pitches. So he almost did have a no-hitter. He got the closest between the combined Cardinals no-hitter and theirs. The reigning Rookie of the Year, Alvarez from the Houston Astros, has to have a season-ending knee surgery. He was hitting .313 with 27 homers so far this year, or last year. Actually, is what he hit. But Dusty Baker said that he had that. The MLB had actually was warning Reds Trevor Bauer because he was going to wear cleats that were white and blue with a picture of Joe Kelly for that were going to be free Joe Kelly because he thinks what the MLB did with suspending him was wrong. And then Reds announcer Tom Berman apologizes and leaves broadcasting after using anti-gay slur on air during game in Kansas City. So it wasn't a home game, it was in Kansas City. As we talked about, he's already been relieved of his duties for the NFL on Fox. And then on Wednesday night, he did it again, they did it again. Manny Machado for the Padres hit a walk-off grand slam in the 10th inning. So they are really sticking it to the Rangers as it was against them. It becomes the let's see, first team to hit grand slams in 3 straight games since 2006. And then it also came out late Thursday early Thursday morning, late Wednesday night, that the Reds suspended Tom Bremen indefinitely after the broadcast used the anti-gay slur. The Mets and Marlins postponed Thursday night's game after one Mets player and one staffer had tested positive. So we don't know if they're going to still play yet today or at all of the rest of their series yet. And then over, I guess it was last night, Padres become first team in MLB history to hit a grand slam in 4 straight games with Eric Hosmer's 5th inning long ball. So the Padres are actually becoming really hot, and maybe you never know. They might win the NL West. They might win the NL, and you never know. They might be the ones that win the whole thing. So I'm going to grab a quick drink real quick, and then we're going to get on to the NCAA and then the I think NBA, WNBA. Okay, so here we go. Back on now. We are going with NCAA news now. So, college basketball has a plan B already for what they are going to do with the NCAA tournament because they don't know if everything's going to go as planned yet when it comes to everything, because they don't want stuff like this to happen as it is going on with the college football, with some of the conferences not playing, some of them playing, and them having to do everything differently. So they're talking about non-conference bubble idea pitched to at least 50 college basketball programs. They're also talking about trimming down the number of teams, I think, in the NCAA tournament to 32 and making it easier for teams to join in. That would be in small. You just get, like, I think the automatic bids only, almost, to a degree. Trying to think real quick. There are more talks about how the college football leadership is more in question, and if the group or the Power Five could break away from the NCAA, because the College Football Playoff Committee is who controls their championship and not the actual NCAA. So that's how the FCS championship was canceled, and all the other fall championships for all the other divisions and Division One, except for the college football FBS championship, which is the college football playoff, because that's not controlled by the NCAA; it's controlled by the playoff committee. As I said, they're talking about making a college basketball bubble. November start date unlikely for college basketball. NCAA President Mark Emmert says using bubbles for NCAA championships, including basketball in 2021, is perfectly viable. The 2020 Hall of Fame induction for Basketball Hall of Fame has now been moved back to May 2021. That means I believe we'll have 2 Hall of Fame classes in 2021. Obviously, the 2020 class and then the normal 2021 Hall of Fame class. That means Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, and Kevin Garnett will be inducted in May 2021. And then I believe we'll have our normal Hall of Fame induction ceremony as planned for the 2021 Hall of Fame class. Matthew Stafford and Kirby Smart endow $500,000 in social justice programs at Georgia, the University of Georgia. UAB freshman linebacker Alan Myrick died Friday morning from gunshot wounds that he suffered visiting home in Alabama. He was only 19. Very sad. The number 1 point guard in the class of 2021 picked Tennessee over the University of North Carolina, Duke, Memphis, and Kentucky. He's number 12 in the top 100 for ESPN. The name was Kennedy Chandler. And that was for basketball. And then in number 1 recruit to skip senior season, defensive end Jack Sawyer will forgo final high school season and trained for early enrollment at Ohio State. Now, this is something we had talked about. How are people like this going to affect the rosters for spring football for some of the schools that have decided to go to the spring like that? He's going to not play his senior season in high school. Instead, he's going to just train and go to Ohio State early, and Ohio State is playing in the spring. So will he be eligible to play for Ohio State in the spring during their season as a freshman, or will he still have to wait till the fall before he can play? That's one of the questions we'll have to wait and see. And also, I don't know exactly where he's from, but what state is he from that they're not playing football, or that he doesn't want to go play football right now? So, let's see. Justin Fields, the current quarterback of Ohio State, is asking the Big Ten to allow teams to make their own choice, as he has a petition for Big Ten season. He has amassed over 15,000 signatures. That was on Sunday. I believe it's way more over that now. But since then, the new commissioner, Kevin Sullivan, I believe that is, I know his first name's Kevin, has said that their decision is final, and they're not doing anything else now after that. So, USC transfer JT Daniels has not been cleared from his injury that he suffered in the 2019 opener for USC. He tore his ACL and he transferred to Georgia. The SEC unveiled its schedule on Monday, and we will be going over it tomorrow as part of one of the 3 Power 5 team conferences that are going to play in the fall, SEC, ACC, and Big 12. So tune in tomorrow for that. And the National Association of Basketball Coaches is creating a coalition of players to provide feedback on a variety of issues. That will be interesting to see what ends up happening out of that at all levels, high school, college, and professional. So NCAA might shift basketball start. NCAA target mid-September for decision whether November 10th start date for men's women's college basketball seasons is feasible. I know that the Pac-12 has already talked about how they're not going to play any sports this calendar year, and they're going to push back till 2021 for the start of their basketball programs and some of their other winter sports. So it'll be interesting to see if we only go to conference only for um, these sports in the winter. So it'll be interesting to follow that because I know as of right now, I mean, if I do go back on campus physically, which I won't find out till September 8th, I mean, I won't be able to see any sports until I go back in January. So, okay. Florida State coach um, Mike Norvell had a good conversation with Warren Thompson after receiver aired concerns on social media. He was one of the three, I believe, that said he doesn't know if he trusts like what's going on at the university. Let's see. Coach K was also in the news because he says that we need to have a tournament this year. He says that the NCAA needs to prioritize the men's basketball tournament because of the revenue it generates. Yes, it does revenue. The revenue it does generate is a lot for the universities, especially if for some of them that aren't going to have football in the fall. Nick Saban has also questioned spring viability for some of the reasons I have already said, because he thinks juniors and seniors will opt out, though, turning spring college football into a JV season with just freshmen and sophomores mainly. The NCAA has also brought up a the oversight committee for the NCAA, I should say, has proposed a 12-hour schedule model for teams not playing this fall on how they can, in the spring, how they can practice and everything and prepare with your practices, your weights, stuff like that. Which, I mean, basically all you have to do is take what you do in the fall and move it to the springtime. Because at Ohio University, the football team practices have to be from free after 3, basically, for football. And because you have your meetings and you have your practice, and then you have your weights and your meetings and stuff. I mean, you're basically, once you're done you're there from 3 till almost 9. You're there in the fall. I think they have some weights in the mornings and stuff, but I think that's only for a couple hours. So I'm not 100% sure, but that's a school that's gone to 11 straight bowl games and has won the past 4 in a row, and also has a former coach that has went to multiple national championship games, and Frank Solich, who was the last head coach of Nebraska to go to a national championship game. And every coach since him has never been that good, including the current one. That was my stab. So, University of Georgia will allow fans at home games. Georgia announces plan to allow 20 to 25% capacity at their stadium of Sanford Stadium, which seats 92,746, meaning the max crowds could be between 18 to 23,000. So that could be a good amount of people. Obviously, it has to be social distancing and everything like that. Let's see. Two women say that former Washington football team running back Darius Geis raped them at LSU in 2016. So it's obviously we're going to see what happens. That's probably part of the stuff that has came out since all the stuff with Washington. Um, and then NCAA Council recommends eligibility frozen for fall athletes so they won't lose it regardless of how many games they play. The top 2021 center picks Duke over Tennessee, Kentucky. He was the number 3 recruit in ESPN Top 100. Okay, we're moving on to our final section. We're going to the NBA, WNBA. As we just crossed over the 1 hour mark, we've been live for an hour and 1 minute and 15 seconds. So we're getting into our final topic. This is obviously as long as a normal episode would be. Just want a quick reminder that tomorrow we're going live with our college football Power 5 Final 3, the 3 that are going to play in the fall. And then Monday we're going to be live doing like a quick recap of what's happened since today through that. And then we're going to try and do like quick little news briefs every day, 5 days a week. And then we'll do that, trying to do that every day. Just one quick reminder on that. Make sure you subscribe, notification bell, like, comment, share it, tell your friends. Can I think of anything else? I don't think so. We're going to move into the NBA real quick. Westbrook to miss the start of the playoffs with a strained quad. He's going to miss the beginning of the Thunder series. There's no expected time frame of him coming back. Obviously, you don't want to rush it because you don't want him to re-injure the quad right off the bat. Adam Silver has also said that social issues are unavoidable, but believes fans are able to spread or separate play and messaging. So when it comes to what's happening with everything. So there's been more than a dozen WNBA players that have bounced back after testing positive for COVID-19, and some of them are saying that they still can't taste like food and everything like they normally could. So on last Friday, the Bulls fired head coach Jim Bowen. Coach went 39-84 in his 2 seasons there. Obviously, it was really bad. He lost as many games as you play in a season there. So that's not good. So obviously, I think they have the 4th overall pick. The draft lottery was last night. I have more on that later on, but I believe they have the 4th overall pick, so that will be good for them. They'll be able to use that to pair up someone new with Zach LaVine and a new head coach. Dame Lillard was shooting from the NBA logo on the court again. Crazy, he scored 42 points and 12 assists as they took down the Nets in 134 to 133. as they were able to face the Grizzlies, and they won that game. When they played that game, they were the 8 seed, and the Grizzlies were the 9. So they won the game on last Saturday, and were able to face the Lakers. The Lakers won last night in a good scoring game. The Lakers would let them come back at some points and then take off. So I think it was like 1 something to like 80. But I believe Damian Lillard hurt his hand or something. So I think that's what ended up helping them out at the end. And the series is now 1-1. Excuse me. I believe every series has 1-1 except for a couple of them are 2-0. The New Orleans Pelicans also fired their coach after missing the playoffs this season, which I thought was interesting because they barely missed it, and I think if they would have kept him and they would have had Zion the whole season, I think it would have been different. So I think that would have been much different, and they should have just kept him, I believe. I don't know how much longer his contract was for, but I think that's kind of pulling the trigger a little too early on that. So, but we'll see. Joel Embiid and James Harden we're getting a little frustrated with each other, and it's not going good. So, a saliva-based coronavirus test funded by the NBA and NBA PA gets emergency authorization from the FDA. I heard about that, and it sounds like a really good thing. It should be something that helps out a lot, and with getting people tested faster. Mike Conley on Sunday had to leave the bubble for Columbus, Ohio, for the birth of his son, and was expected to return at some point in the postseason. I don't know if he's back yet or not. Rajon Rondo was cleared from quarantine on Monday. He had a fractured right thumb, and he was re-entering the bubble last week. I believe he was questionable for either the second game or maybe it was after the first game he became questionable for last night's game. Liz Cambridge, she plays for the Las Vegas Aces, has signed with Southside Flyers of the WNBA in Australia. She received medical exemption to sit out of the 2020 NBA season, or WNBA season. People are getting really mad about Kristaps Porzingis' ejection during the Mavs Clippers game. Some are calling it bogus, while Dirk Nowitzki labels it as a super soft call. Luka in that same game ended up scoring 42 points as they still lost, but it is also the highest ever for a playoff debut. So, the Reds broadcaster was not the only radio broadcaster that has been in the news. The Charlotte Hornets suspended their radio broadcaster, John Fuco, and definitely for mistyping racial slur in tweet using N-word instead of the Nuggets when he was saying, I believe it was when he was using the matchup Hornets versus Nuggets. Instead, it said Hornets versus N-word. And then also on Tuesday, Celtics forward Gordon Hayward is expected to miss about 4 weeks after suffering grade 3 right ankle sprain, which is, I think, the same type of injury that Sabrina Ionescu suffered. So I'm kind of curious on how he's going to be able to come back sooner than she did. But who knows? Maybe it's not as bad as hers. Lakers are going to be wearing Black Mamba jerseys on Monday, I believe, is the 24th. Yes, Monday is the 24th, which is 8/24 in Game 4 versus Blazers. So make sure you watch that. It's to celebrate Mamba Day. Speaking of that, the 99.99 version of NBA 2K21 is Mamba Forever version. It's all about Kobe and everything. The draft lottery or the draft combine is going to be virtual this year, as the draft lottery was last night on ESPN. Okay. There's possible NBA free agency delay. Union tells players to prepare for free agency in mid-October to be pushed back several weeks. So we might even see free agency pushback that could cause a pushback in the start of the season, maybe even. Who knows? We could see the season not start till late December, maybe around Christmas it could be starting, or January. We could be seeing it, just be played in January is when the season starts if everything gets pushed back more. Because you might not see free agents get moving teams till November around Thanksgiving, and that's normally when you have you're already almost ready for the season to start. So the results of the draft lottery is number 1 pick will go to the Timberwolves, followed by the Warriors with the number 2, which they're talking about trading that pick for possibly a player. And then the 3rd pick goes to Charlotte, and the 4th pick goes to Chicago. Let's see. Diamond DeShields of the Chicago, I forget, of the WNBA Chicago team. I forget I think it's the Sky for Skyscrapers. Went under evaluation at hospital for apparent quadricep injury versus Liberty last night. So that's all. I want to remind you all that we are back here tomorrow for our football. Go follow us on Instagram. It's where I've been letting you know when we're going to be going live with the countdown. So just make sure you follow us there. Turn on your notifications for our posts. And I'm trying to think what else. Notifications for here and on Instagram. Subscribe to us on both on here and follow us on Instagram. We have a phone number for you to text us and ask us questions. You can also ask us questions in the chat. There's a whole lots of things. Remember, Monday we're going to be recapping what happened after this. Yeah. So nothing really happened during the show to do just in stuff. So everything from that happened after we go off the air till we go on the air Monday, we'll use as stuff for Monday, and then we'll go Tuesday, Wednesday, 5 days a week. And so we'll see you Saturday, though, for the three Power 5 conferences, SEC, ACC, and Big 12, to finalize the predictions for that. And until then, have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day.